Hi everyone, good day and thank you for joining me today. My name is Ifan Yoko, your lead instructor on this channel. Welcome from wherever you're joining us, from wherever you're viewing us. Like I always say, the essence of this channel is to continue to train and expand our knowledge in the core area of business analysis. And today we want to take look an overview of the knowledge areas we have in business analysis. And so I'll quickly proceed to walk us through the knowledge areas we'll find in business analysis. All right, so the business analysis knowledge areas. Basically, there are six knowledge areas you will find in business analysis. These knowledge areas are a collection of logically but not sequentially related tasks. So what this means is that the knowledge areas have been grouped, or the tasks have been grouped in the knowledge areas for understanding purposes. It doesn't necessarily mean that those tasks are performed sequentially from one knowledge area to another in the way they've been ordered in the BABOK guide. So these knowledge areas describe the specific activities that accomplish the purpose of the associated knowledge area. So for each of the knowledge areas, the task you will find in that knowledge area help you to achieve the outcome of that knowledge area. The task can be performed iteratively, simultaneously, or concurrently in order to achieve a business analysis outcome. And of course, you know that a business analyst is anyone who performs the business analysis task described in the BABOK guide, no matter their job title or organizational role. So, your thorough understanding of the knowledge area, of the tasks in the knowledge areas, your ability to perform those tasks is what makes you a business analyst. So, this means that a thorough understanding and the performance of the tasks is a prerequisite to being a professional business analyst. The whole practice of business analysis is all about carrying out the tasks described in the knowledge areas in the most professional manner. So let's look at the knowledge areas. So we have six of them. We have the business analysis, planning and monitoring. We have the elicitation and collaboration. We have the requirement lifecycle management. We have the strategy analysis. We have the requirement analysis and design definition. And we have the solution evaluation. All right. So let's look at each of these knowledge area, just an overview of them, just so we can have an idea of what each of them stands for. So the business analysis, planning and monitoring knowledge area is basically tasked with the planning of the business analysis activity, estimating the time for the activities, defining the techniques that will be used across the business analysis activities. And it has the following tasks. It has the task of planning the business analysis approach, where you decide on the approach you'll be using, whether you're using predictive or adaptive approach. It has planned the stakeholder engagement approach, where you decide on how you're going to engage your stakeholders, and at the end of the day, you come up with the communication and collaboration plan. It has the plan for business analysis governance approach, where you would decide how you're going to assess requirements, how you're going to prioritize requirements, how you're going to approve requirements, and everything that has to do with governance in terms of the business analysis activities. And then how you plan the business analysis information management approach. So this is where you decide how you're going to store, retrieve information in your repositories, how you're going to manage all the business analysis information you come across in the practice of business analysis. And then finally, it has the task of identify business analysis performance improvements, where you're going to identify and prescribe corrective and preventive measures for the business analyst to take as a feedback as he performs his business analysis activities. So that's a run through of the first knowledge area. So quickly go to the second one, where we talk about the knowledge area of elicitation and collaboration. Again, this knowledge area have 5 tasks. First one is where we prepare for elicitation. So we talk about how elicitation, how we gather or extract information from our stakeholders regarding the need. So we talk about the logistics for the elicitation in the preparation. We talk about the agenda for elicitation, talk about the supporting materials. Then the next one is you conduct the elicitation proper in line with the elicitation activity plan that was developed when you were preparing for elicitation. And then here you use the techniques you would have identified during preparation to conduct the elicitation, and of course, document the elicitation results. And then the third task is for you to come back and confirm those elicitation results. And then the fourth task is you communicate the business analysis information to your stakeholders, and then you manage your stakeholders in collaboration. All right, so move to the third task, the third knowledge area, which is the requirement life cycle management. So here we look at the entire life cycle of a requirement from inception to retirement. So here we perform 5 tasks. We trace requirements, try to trace them back to the need and forward to the solution. We maintain requirements, especially those requirements we intend to reuse. We prioritize requirements depending on the criteria for prioritization, which can be according to value, in terms of risk, in terms of regulation or urgency, as the case may be. We assess requirement changes. So for those requirements that change requests are being raised upon them, we now assess how we're going to accept those changes in line with what we have documented in the governance approach. And finally, we get those requirements approved for implementation. We move to the next knowledge area now, strategy analysis. So strategy analysis have 4 tasks. First task here is we analyze the current state. So this way we try to understand the need and understand the capabilities of the current state of the business and the current state. Then we define the future state. That's the potential or targets area we want to be. That's the to be process, what we want to achieve, and the solution we want to achieve. And then we'll look at the risk in between the current state and the future state. So as we try to move from the current state to the future state, we also assess the risk on the path to move to the future state. And then finally, we come up with a plan or a change strategy that enables us to move from the current state to the future state. And that's what we do on the strategy analysis. I'll move to requirement analysis and design definition. So this knowledge area have 6 tasks. First of all, we specify and model requirements. So we come up with specifications and models of requirements to make them, present them in representations that make more meaning to the various stakeholders. We verify requirements here in the second task just to make sure that the requirements are of the right standard, they are atomic, they are concise, they are understandable, they are testable, they are unambiguous, they are prioritized. And then we validate requirements just to make sure that the requirements all are pointing to the business objective and goals of the project. Then we define the requirements architecture. So here we try to make sure that all the requirements are working together as a uniform and as a cohesive unit. And then we define the design options. This is where we begin to apportion solution components to requirements and come up with alternative design options that are viable solution for implementation. And then finally, we analyze those design options for potential value and then recommend the one that has and delivers the highest potential value to the stakeholders. And finally, the last but not the least is the solution evaluation. And this is the only knowledge area that comes into play when some part of the solution has been built. It has 5 tasks. So the first one is we measure solution performance. And with the values we get from the solution performance measurements, we analyze them for variance, comparing the target values with the baseline values. And if there is a variance between what we estimated as our potential values in line with the baseline values, we now assess solution limitation to see whether the variance is coming from the solution, or we assess the enterprise limitations to see whether the variance is coming from the enterprise. And after these 2 analyses, we now recommend actions to increase solution value. All right, so that brings us to the end of the overview of the knowledge areas and business analysis. Join us next time as we begin to take on these tasks one after the other in the knowledge areas and begin to understand what they actually mean. Thank you for joining us today. Bye-bye.